What is going on out there, good people, and welcome back to LMD Trading, where I am living my dream trading. Hope everybody out there is doing well today. As for myself, I'm doing good. Out here in the shop, just taking a break from these machines running, and I wanted to get a video in discussing a nice trade that I caught this week. It wasn't a trade that I caught trading futures. It was a trade that I caught trading options, and I had kind of gotten away from day trading options, but this week I kind of laid off on the futures account, primarily because I was going into a new Take Profit Trader Pro account, and I didn't want to trade that at the end of the week. I kind of wanted to go into the beginning of the week fresh-minded trading that. So while in the Discord, Spark, who's over at Spark and Trade here on YouTube, he was discussing 0 DTE option contracts, and he was looking at SPX. And I'm not one that fools with SPX, so what I like to trade is the Qs. So I went on over and I looked at the Qs, and I kind of found this little edge that I think I'm gonna be working with, trading 0 DTEs. And a lot of people say that you can get in trouble trading 0 DTEs because they can quickly go by the wayside and leave you holding the bag, basically letting theta just crush them. But the way that Spark was looking at him, he was like, man, buy cheap 0 DTEs, where if they expire, you can just let them expire worthless, but if they pop, they pop. And these particular ones that I traded, they were cheap, and guess what? They popped. So let's jump on over. I am going to pull up, let's go with this screen, but this is not the screen that I trade options. This is what I'm usually looking at when I am going to trade futures. So let me pull up, boom. This is what I'm usually looking at when I want to kind of play with options. This side over here just has my usual daily ideas. I don't trade these. I just like to look at them and see what they're doing, as they are primary market movers. But what I do have here is a option calls watch list and an options put watch list, and I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna shrink that now just to kind of blow this up, but I'll give you a quick layout of what I'm looking at when I'm kind of trading options. I got just a 1 minute chart here. This upper chart is for calls, this lower chart here is for puts, and what I did on this particular day is I tried to find contracts that were about $7 out of the money going either way. And I don't have to put down here right now. This one is just showing this same contract because it's set to 8. If it was set to 9, it should pull up. I guess I had to put our call loaded over there, but I'm gonna just change that back to 8 just so we got the same on sames. Actually, no, you know what I am gonna do? I'm gonna just remove it so we're not looking at it. How about that? But 1 minute chart, calls go here, puts go here, and then I have the option chain down here, so I can quickly look at contracts. I can quickly get them loaded over here on my charts, and then here I just got the DOM so that I can kind of flip between 8 or 9 if I'm gonna be doing a call or a put. But what I do want to do, because the chart no longer has my entries and my exits, is I'm gonna go to monitor, and this here, these were the contracts that I was trading. This was the prices I was buying them at. This is the prices that I was selling them at. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just detach this, and I'm gonna drag it over to another screen real quick, just so I can be looking at that, and I'll be using that to drop arrows on the charts for these trades. and then I'm gonna kind of explain it to you, my thought process when trading this edge. When trading this edge, let me do that because it disconnected it. But thought process on this. I have turned into a fib junkie, y'all. Never been really one to pay attention to Fibonacci's. I've always been one of those ones. I can kind of look at the chart and see where pullbacks are at. Why have I been doing that for so long? What I started doing and what I have coded into the OTRS trade system is I have my system to where it codes in the previous day's fib levels. So it'll take the previous day's candle and it will overlay that on the chart. So that is what you're seeing here. My thought process that day and every day pretty much going forward is if the market is super extended, meaning on this particular day, which was May 8th, if you want to look at your charts for May 8th, the Qs was trading up near the 150% level. We were highly extended. My thought process, we need a pullback. We need some kind of pullback on this thing here. So market just kind of chopped along, and notice we start testing these different levels. We came down to the 138 level, flushed out, got down to this 127 level, and they call these extensions once you get above 100. These are extension levels, but you notice the market was just kind of trading along. And then if you come over and you look on the option chart, if you see how I'm moving the mouse, you can kind of see where the line is on the option chart where price was at. Let me switch this over to an arrow. The first contract that I took, and I'm gonna mark this on, I'll mark it on both charts. How about that? Kind of blow this up. The first one that I took was pretty much right as the market was kind of opening. I took this one at 934. So let's go to the 934 candle, and I paid $26 for this contract. Now again, remember what Spark was kind of saying, you kind of want to just die with these contracts. So I was willing off the market open to lose $26 on that contract if at the end of the day it expired worthless. But again, my thought process, let's go to 934, and I'm gonna just drop it at the 934 candle right there. We see that the market is coming down. It's clearly coming down. But this first one, I'm just getting into it. Second one, I take at 948. That's this candle right here. Notice how I went right to the candle. I took this for it to come off of this 110 level. So I'm gonna go over 948. We're gonna find that one there. And I got this one for 19 cents. And now look, I'm planning to hold this level, which is 110, and it's 23 on the actual option contract. So I'm kind of playing the market to go up. And on this day, it was a news day. This was a news day also. So that was my second contract. And then Trump was supposed to be speaking at 10 o'clock. He was supposed to be speaking at 10 o'clock. Well, guess what? Trump delayed. He delayed. We see he delayed 10 o'clock. We would have been giving up. Actually, at 10 o'clock, we would have been holding this level to possibly go higher. And it did. But it rejected off of what I call the last line of defense. push back down. Let's keep going. Doesn't break the 110 level, comes back down, gives up the 100 level, and it gives up that level, comes down to 78, and I purchase on this candle right here, 1054. I'm gonna just drop an arrow, and then we're gonna come over and look at that on the option contract and see where it's at. 1054, and I paid 11 cents for this contract. And if you're not familiar with how option contracts work, I know I said I paid 26 cents, I paid 19 cents, and now I paid 11 cents. You take that 11 and then you multiply it by 100 contracts, because that's what an option contract is. It's 100 shares. So I paid $11 for this contract. I paid $19 for the previous contract, and I paid $26 for the first contract. So if we add all of those up, I was in this trade for $56 per order. Now I won't tell you how many contracts I had, but just know I was in $56 per order. If I had 10 contracts, that would have been $560. Yep, 560. If I had 5 of them, it would have been 280. And again, thought process, we're just gonna let these bad boys ride. We'll see what they're gonna do. But the thought is the market is going to bounce. Notice the last one that I bought, where price was at. It was at 0. This was previous day's low for the option contract. It was at 70. Actually, that's not even 78, because 78 is this level. This one I don't have in the system with the actual number, but that's the level that it was at. Watch what it did, y'all. It came up, it pulled back. Notice on the option contract. Now, this is something that Spark uses for his analysis when he plays 0 DTEs. He looks for a divergence. And the divergence that I see, I'm gonna put it out there that I do see it. The Q, it made a higher low. We see that, right? It made a higher low. But let's come over here and let's look at the option contract. It made a lower low. So we get a lower low on the option contract. We get a higher low on the actual Qs. And then look at what that thing did, y'all. We see it over here, but watch when we see it over there. Boom. Look at that move right there, y'all. Killer. I'm gonna blow this up some. I know it's a lot of lines going on, and it's because of how that move was. Try to blow this up as best I can. And now I'm gonna start putting arrows on where I got out at. So the first one, I got out at 1144. So 1144, this candle right here, and I got out at 59 cents. So $59 per contract is what I was selling those for. Tried to trail stop it. The next order, I get out at 61 or 67 cents, and I get out at 46. So I'm getting out in this candle, and I get out at 67. I get out right up in that area. And then the last batch that I get out at is at 51. That's this candle right here, 51. And I get out at 51 cents. I take this thing all the way back down, and I get out of these last ones right here. Looking at my exit, The smarter exit would have been the exit right there when it broke the low of that previous candle. And I would have made $10 per contract more had I got out right there. But think about that, y'all. That last batch of contracts I ordered, let's say that I bought 5 contracts. I would have paid $55 for 5 contracts, option contracts. And let's say that I got out right here on this order, $50 per contract. For the price of 1 contract, I made my money back. And on the other 4, I made $200. I got out on that one. That's the one that's like 500%. And y'all might say like, nah, that wasn't really 500%. I'm gonna go over in the Discord real quick. Give me 1 second. Ooh, yeah, that's the Discord screen. And if you notice, it has the date there. And actually, this is the chart. I'm gonna click it. That was the actual option chart as it was working. The actual OTRS code, it puts in the it's like color coded, but you see right there 5/8, that was the date. It's not gonna blow it because it's cropped now, but let me click off of it. But that was the actual chart. I'll like screen grab and post charts. So that was that particular chart. You see Spark, he'll do the same thing. He kind of post his charts as well. But I'm gonna scroll down and look at what I say right there on that comment. Got him. At that time, I was up 270% on those contracts. Again, just another screen grab. Boom, same contracts. Now I'm up 513% on those contracts. Just a banger trade. And then you notice I say look at the reject of the 138.2 level on MNQ. I'll blow that one up. So look how clean that rejected. So for my fib levels, I like to use those as ways to be ready to take profit. Notice that rejected, and when that rejected, that was all she wrote. On MNQ, we were down near that 61.8 level. This is a key level, 61.8 when it comes to Fibonacci, I guess. But this level here was a price action level that I had on my chart. Never deleted it because it's been working and you see exactly what it did. But yeah, 513%, y'all. We killed it. Just trying to see. Okay, I didn't post anything else pertaining to that. This was PLTR, I believe. Yeah, this was a trade that on YouTube, he's known as the Honored Trader, but this was a trade that Vega was in, PLTR. He took some shorts, and I just wanted to take a look at it. And man, it was amazing that he took that short and it worked, because look at this thing was green on green on green, ripped, and he took a nice short. So depending on your edge, you can find trades that's kind of contrary to what I'm trading, contrary to what Spark might be trading, and it'll work. So that was the trade, y'all. That's just what I wanted to kind of put out there real quick, let y'all see it. We noticed when we just looked at PLTR, that bad boy was at 261%. I want to see where it's at on here before I get off of here. I want to see where it's at right now, PLTR. Let's take a look. Come on, charts kick in. If you look down here on the daily chart, we see, so it had tanked out beginning of last week or beginning of the week, came up to this 150% level,